Now, I put to you a question yesterday about manifest destiny. Bearing in mind what we know about manifest destiny, I offered you the proposition that yesterday's common sense often becomes today's nonsense. As society evolves, we learn from our past mistakes. And again, with reference to manifest destiny, my question to you was, although the rallying cry for manifest destiny, this idea that we have the God-given right to spread into the West and westward expansion from sea to shining sea, although that rallying cry has died out, is it still alive today in some shape or form? You all read an article that has to do with that, and we are going to begin our discussion today, our first foray into a real Socratic seminar. Now, what I need you guys to understand is that it's very important for everybody to be very, very quiet while the inner group is having their discussion. Very quiet. Don't forget, the outer group, you are like scientific observers. You are behind a two-way mirror. You can hear everything, you can see everything that's going on, but you cannot interact with the inner group. The outer group, I want you to take everything off of your desk except for the checklist that I provided you yesterday and a piece of paper. And a writing implement, of course. So on this paper, you'll be assessing the group conversation, the quality of the conversation as a whole. Now, at the end, once we bring the inner group's conversation to a close, I will go around and everybody in the outer group will have a chance, everybody in the outer group will have a chance to offer one question that they would have liked to have asked, and what they found most interesting about the conversation that they observed, as well as one comment about their individual members that they assessed. This is we have a lot to do, and we're kind of pressed for time. Before we begin, though, I want to just refresh your memory. Again, remember, the reason that I like Socratic seminars so much is because education today is very much obsessed with having the right answer to everything, having one correct answer. And I am far less concerned in this instance and most with your ability to refer to the text when you need it during the discussion. This is not a test of memory. This is not a test of all the little bits of information that you know, all the facts and dates. This is your chance to explore ideas and issues and values and ethics. It's okay to pass if you feel uncomfortable. It's okay to pass when you have nothing to contribute. But do not make a habit of this. Sooner or later, everyone should contribute in the inner circle. Stick to the point. Make notes that you want to write down ideas that you want to come back to for reference. Don't raise your hands. Take turns. Speak up so that all can hear you. Listen carefully, quietly, and show respect for your classmates. Okay. One last thing. Demonstrate patience with others' opinions. Move the conversation forward. Speak to all participants. Think before answering. Refer directly to the text. Make connections to other speakers. Consider all opinions. Write down thoughts and questions. Build on others' comments. Ask for clarification when needed. And identify keywords and phrases in the text. Think about ethnocentricity, ideology, things like that that we've been learning about. And without further ado, I'm going to start this discussion by designating the leader. The leader here is going to be Emma today. Emma, your job is simply to initiate the discussion with a general statement about the article, or you can go off the question that I've asked you. And when you are finished, you can pass it along. Remember, this is all about asking questions. This is all about inquiry. It is inquiry, not answers. Answers reflect a complete signal, a complete stop in human thought, a screeching halt in human thought. But it's through questions and inquiry that we can really guide the critical mind and the creative thinking skills that you're going to need to participate as successful and responsive members in society, whether in college or out. You're all going to be getting a job, and you're going to be going to job interviews, and this is what you're going to be needing: skills to work cooperatively and collaboratively together, respectfully, and make quality observations in the outer group. Again, you guys are responsible for what goes on here, not me. I'm going from the sage on the stage to your guide on the side. I'm a facilitator. I'm a co-learner. Okay. Now, remember, Socrates, his whole idea was to feign or to pretend as though he was ignorant of these ideas to provoke the inquiry from others. Now, I will be evaluating you as you go, but the idea is for you guys to construct your own meaning, to build this from the bottom up, not from the top down. Okay? So, Emma, please begin.
Okay, I'm just going to dive into one of the sample questions. This part of the text right here at the bottom of the page. General Matthew Butler, who headed many U.S. military interventions in the early part of the century, gave a stark account of what had really been doing. And in that whole paragraph that he talks about, it's, oh, we were helping them, and we saved them, and we did this, but it's not the true reality. So, like, do you guys think that we take that justice too far? What do you guys think of that?
We're not helping them. If you read it, he's talking about how he wants to make it a safer place for themselves. He goes and he says how he's setting up for American oil, as an example here when he talks about Mexico. How to make Mexico safe for American oil interests in 1914. We don't do anything for others, we do it for ourselves.
We want dominance.
Exactly.
I can piggyback on that for on the backside. What it says here, the U.S. policy, what it actually aims for is to make the world safe for big business. But right after that, it says that President Bush said after the Gulf War that what we say goes. So it's kind of like, okay, they're going to say this, but they may not hear, they're going to say something else. And also in that way, it's like we had power to do so. If that's what he wanted, why didn't he do that?
Right here it says it may be necessary to kill half of the Filipinos so that the remaining half may be advanced to a higher plane. So we're kind of judging the way they are with what we think is a higher plane. So we think it may be necessary to kill whatever it takes to get our beliefs imposed on to their culture.
Yeah, and to go on what he said, we're basically saying that they're barbarous, but the real barbarians are the generals or the politicians, the U.S. military, because we're the ones that just going in there and then just wiping out half of them when we could have like tried to help them or do something else.
And even when they don't need help, because they feel like their beliefs on that is totally fine, but we look at it as wrong. So we try to change that.
There's a quote here that said the U.S. soldiers drew the conclusion that their quarrel wasn't with the Vietnamese, but with the politics and the generals who sent them to Vietnam. So it's like even our own soldiers, you know, they didn't see it as they were going to war with them. It was they were going to war with their own generals because, you know, they're innocent guys that, you know, they have their own families back home. You know, they don't really want to kill these other families. It's like, you know, just another person that they have to kill because the general said so. You know, I mean, I think that the generals and the upper level people, you could say, have taken everything way too far. You know, they want to be in control. I mean, I can't say how many times he said dominance in here and power and wealth and big businesses, but that's not what, like, America wants. That's what these generals want. And they try to make it seem like it's this good thing that we're doing, that we're, oh, no, it's justice. You know, they're trying to blind, you know, the people of America, and it's not right.
There's another quote here that says, it was written by Mark Twain, and he says that he didn't really tell people what it actually meant, but it says how our hearts burn with indignation against the atrocious Spaniards. But who are we to judge another culture by, you know, who's indignified or who's wrong? It's like that's their beliefs, that's the way they think. Who are we to tell them what to do?
I'm going to interject real quick, Barnes. Do you know the word that would describe that? That judging other cultures using our own yardstick, using our own values. Does anybody hear of that word? Very good. Ethnocentrism. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you guys, like, why do you think that it has gotten to the point where we think that we're better than everybody and that our values are right? Like, why do you think it has come to that point?
Because we were the main powerhouse. Yeah.
Why do you think we're the main powerhouse? Like, what made us that powerhouse?
Fighting wars.
Fighting wars. Part of it that they had said here was that we were the only one to still use the atomic bomb. And that was a huge part of it. I mean, basically we're the type of country where if there's a fight between people, we step in and we're like, we're all this, we're all that, you and the U.S. backpocketed regime in the South. Basically, they had said that they showed how our imperialism can be beaten and how it can be defeated, and they had attacked us. But instead of us seeing that they were only doing what we had always done, we played like the victim role. You'd finally seen the other side of it. So how do you think that our imperialism had been beaten? What do you feel about that, and how our imperialism was beaten?
I'm gonna leave off topic for a second on what you said for, in the wars, us being the big bullies. Was actually behind that was we actually didn't want to get involved in wars, but people would attack us, and they would force us, they would drag us into it, and that was what would cause us to intervene. I guess us winning that, giving us, okay, hey, we have a lot of power, we've won the last 2 world wars, so with us doing that, we're gonna say, okay, well, we're big and bad now, we have all the good stuff, and these people, we're gonna march into their territory, and we're gonna start judging them, and we're gonna take over their land and try to change how they think.
Well, I think we don't personally like to start it, but once we're involved, we have no problem trying to finish it. Because once we enter wars, we really wage war and all. We have no mercy for what the innocent people have, like what they have to suffer after what we've done. Because after once they involve us, we've seen that they've done the wrong by attacking us first. So we decide, since we're right by not going first, now we make them view us. How in World War II, the way Germany was divided because of this, it's just ridiculous. Thinking about how people will still attack us after they've seen us, the way we demonstrate ourselves over others, the way we force our views onto others. And we won't do it to begin with, we won't be the first to start it, but like I said, once we're attacked, we really have no mercy for the others. We just make them give up their lifestyle and join us. But what you were speaking of earlier, how Vietnam, how they won, is because they truly stuck to, even though they were losing so many people in the war, they truly stuck to what they thought was correct, to their morals and their beliefs. And even after we decided to invade and attack and do what we could, we stood no chance against them because they knew the terrain. And to that, they had the advantage. Although they were less applied, the army was significantly smaller. Materials, they had next to none.
The Cold War was threatened to be a nuclear war, and the poor countries must listen to U.S. demands. And if they didn't listen, we would just back it up with our economic and political threats. But do you think we have a lot of threats right now? I mean, look how much money we owe to other countries. I mean, we are in a lot of debt. And right now our federal government is shut down. Like, do you think that if something were to happen right now in another country, that we would have the same power that we would have had 10 years ago?
With ease, yes. Our military has done nothing but grow. Although the federal government shut down at the moment, as soon as that attack happens, all of it will be put aside. Our main focus will be just get our army, get our military straight to that country, just invade. Because we're not going to let the war happen here. When's the last time you heard of a war actually happening in America? In Trump faith, where it says that we're a superpower, it says that we're the only superpower now. I don't believe that to be a good thing. Other countries are very successful. They don't have to be a superpower because they don't really need the war to maintain their stature, like where they are. America, we need that. We need that strong military, or else we lose our power. The debt we have is ridiculous. It's not going to happen. The only reason we're a superpower, the only reason we're a top nation is because of our military, the way we can protect ourselves or protect others that are being invaded. Only reason.
Joel, I'm going to interject right. Do you believe that this idea that we are a superpower, so we call other countries developing nations?
Yeah.
What standard are we measuring that against when we call them developing nations? Are we using our standards or theirs?
Exactly against so that speaking of how we're comparing them to us, although they might not have all the advantages that we have. They might not have all the resources that we were lucky to have. Like, when you look back in our history, the things we had to do to get to where we are, the people.
Do you believe that we had good intentions, though? Is this idea that think about the Trail of Tears and saving the savage from themselves. Do we have good intentions when we think about democracy that has kind of a positive connotation, right? Democracy, liberty, equity. Although there is some contradictions between liberty and equity, democracy could be arguably better than a dictatorship, no? I'm not saying that's the case, but how does democracy play into this? Do you see any relationships between democracy and capitalism?
Over in democracy, it's more of a reap what you sow, but it's equal. And capitalism is more of like Darth said, it's more of a free competition, where people who have crops, they don't get equal rights to that. It's more of the bigger the power, the more you get, and the lower you are, the less you are likely to receive.
Now, I'm just going to probe that for a second and just help you to recognize a contradiction here between that what you just said. We are a democratic, capitalistic society. That means that we have liberty and equity. Liberty meaning we have the freedom to work and reap the benefits of our own work. That's capitalism. But yet we are also a democracy, which means fairness, that society's resources should be distributed in a fair and just manner. So,
I'm pointing fingers at like one person, but a lot of the people on the upper level of our society, I think